After I joined Genentech, I was still skeptical about the whole inclusive environment portion of D&I. Because in my previous company, which also promoted diversity, I used to hear things like, "Oh, the bar for entry in tech for women right now is low," which is kind of like the opposite thing that you want to hear, especially if you're saying that this is a diverse and an inclusive work culture. Another issue I noticed at my previous workplace was that there were a lot of women at like lower positions at the company as individual contributors, but there were few to none in like upper management or in executive positions. And this is actually called the glass ceiling effect. So when I joined Genentech, I noticed that across the organization there was no glass ceiling. So I looked up the org chart, I looked at like employee statistics, and I learned that not only 54% of the workforce is women, but almost like I think 52% of the upper management and executive positions are also filled by women. So there was like no glass ceiling effect at Genentech. There were also no fault lines. So fault lines generally occur when the same kind of people, either based on race or gender or age, tend to create some sort of tend to get together, creating those like fault lines. Moving on to the team level, I observed that my manager integrated me into the team really well. I had a welcome breakfast. I was assigned an onboarding buddy, and I was assigned to projects where I can work with like different team members in the first 90 days, so I can actually develop a working relationship with all of them. And a lot of the times, in the meetings, my manager would like ask me for my opinion. If he saw that I was quiet or I wasn't like giving my input, he would like prod me and ask me to give my input. And sometimes, if I say something and the team member disagrees with it, if I'm right, then my manager will definitely like be my ally and back me up. Also, my teammates are very mindful and accommodating of my beliefs. So I eat halal food, which is sort of like kosher. So for our team lunches, my manager made sure that he talks to the admin and orders food only from places that serve halal meat. I also don't drink alcohol, so they would make sure that they have something non-alcoholic for me, especially when we're having like team toasts or happy hour, etc. And if I need to like reschedule any meetings because I need to like pray at that time, or I have another like religious commitment, they would be really understanding and accommodate those requests.